Question 15, again calling the Honourable Member for Onchan, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'd like the Chief Minister to make a statement on the Beamans report into the Department of Education, Sport and Culture.
For the Chief Minister to make a statement.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The Council of Ministers response and action plan with regards to the Beamans independent review of management and governance arrangements in the Department of Education, Sport and Culture, which included a copy of the Beamans final report and the original terms of reference, were circulated to Timble members on the 22nd of October 2020. Mr Graham Conrade was appointed as the Interim Chief Executive on the 28th of September 2020 and is working with a small transition team and the senior leadership team within the department to instigate the recommendations contained within the action plan. The next 6 months will focus on people, relationships and culture, finalise proposed interim structure. Once interim structure has been finalised and agreed, a review of the funding for the proposed interim structure will be considered. There is a Timble members' presentation due to be held on the 13th of October 2020, which will provide an overview of the review for Beamans and the proposed action plan to implement some of the recommendations. The Council of Ministers' response and action plan will be laid before the Timble sitting in October. The motion states that the Minister for the Department of Education, Sport and Culture will report to Timble with a detailed implementation action plan no later than January 2021 sitting of Timble. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Before I call on the supplementary question from Ms Edge, I think the Chief Minister said that it was circulated on the 22nd of October, and I think, just to make sure, it was the 22nd of September that it was circulated to all members.
Sorry, I thought I'd said 22nd of September.
It's okay.
Right.
I heard October, so I just wanted to make sure that was correct. Supplementary question, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And obviously I thank the Chief Minister and looking forward to the presentation. Just wondering whether the Chief Minister feels that the Council of Ministers and the Department are going to be able to move forward whilst there's an ongoing dispute, and how does he feel the relationships are going to support the interim CEO in making sure that what his expectations and the Minister's expectations to implement changes will be.
Chief Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'm slightly surprised by the Honourable Member's comments. Despite her being a member of one of the unions, I think I said one of the things we're focusing on for the next 6 months will be people, relationships and culture. And I'm sure all the teachers who are asking for a review of the relationship will want to work with the new leadership team in the Department of Education, Sport and Culture to ensure that our young people have a good and vibrant future.
Supplementary question, Dr Allinson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Would the Chief Minister agree with me that the fact that the first thing that the interim CEO did was meet with all teachers on the Isle of Man and spend time talking to them about their aspirations for a future development of our education service was the first step in re-establishing a proper and healthy culture within the education service of our island? Thank you.
Chief Minister to reply.
I would totally agree, and that's what I hoped would happen, and I'm delighted that it has happened. And obviously we're not going to achieve anything if we don't work with everyone involved, parents as well. Thank you.
Supplementary question, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I don't need to reiterate, but I'm only an associate member. I'm not an active member of the union, Chief Minister. But you did quote that there's a new leadership team. Can you say who the new leadership team is, or is it just the interim CEO that's new?
Chief Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I mentioned a new interim chief executive who also has a small transition team working with him, which is taken from officers from around the civil service.